Tua hits 9 different receivers to elevate his team in a pretty easy win against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all coming up next.
It's cool. It's cool. And we're glad that everyone gets to see it. One thing that I know with the players in the locker room is they're not satisfied. There's a lot of things that we wish, we could have done better, especially on my end with my play, with some throws. I wish I could have had back for certain guys, but that's just the way the game goes. It's football. You learn from it, and you continue to play the game as it is.
To your first touchdown.
That's all you can do. Continue to play the game. Good flipping afternoon, everybody. Miami Dolphins on fire. You know it. We're here to celebrate. It's Victory Monday. And as you saw, that's what happens when your offense cashes in. That's what happens when your offense keeps moving the ball. That's what happens when your defense can tee off. You close out a game with an interception. You lead the entire ball game. The Dolphins now have led their opponent for 8 straight quarters. Going back to Monday night. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. We got the chill music on today. We love the chill music around here. Hopefully it's not too loud. Let me know if it's too loud. I'll shave it back a little bit. We're going to say hi to everybody. on this great Monday morning, where we are now, Monday afternoon, where we are now 4-6. We can lock it in, ladies and gentlemen. We can say it for real. We execute the way we did Monday night. We were going to be 4-6 from today, and here we are, 4-6. Welcome, Aquavision. First one in chat today, Eccentric Liz. As always, coming in after that, Louis Medina, reminding us all that we have emojis. Ruben Jimenez, how you doing, Ruben? Red, White, and Bills. Sean, they got their dub yesterday, whatever. Cat for Life, how's it going? True Fin fan. There we go, True Fin. And what's the key to beating New England, True Fin fan? Execution. Exactly. At a high level, the way we've been executing the past two games. If we expect that and we get that, we certainly can call ourselves 5-6. Fans, players can't do that, but we can. What's up, Quite Nice 001 from across the pond? How you doing? Fairly decent turnout at the stadium yesterday. Hard Rock jamming. Quite a few Raiders fans, but not enough to make a difference. They're there to see their tight end. We'll talk about what happened with him. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about it all, as you heard Tua recognizing a win is a win, but a win is not satisfaction. And of course, the newest tight end addition to our room, Jonnu Smith, having a hell of a game. Proving to me why he was going to be an upgrade on this team. Another week. 2 touchdowns yesterday. You got to love it. And as the title today says, if Jonnu. It's TUA time, part 5. Season number 5. And the script is being completely rewritten, ladies and gentlemen. TUA is in real time rewriting the entire novel of his career for the past 6 quarters at least. See if we can keep it going. What's up, Banana? Banana rolling in. He must have heard the reggae. He's like, wait a minute. He's dropping some reggae, man. I gotta come in. Hit it up. No reason not to have fun today. No reason not to embrace this win. Look, I'm going to tell you like it is. And I don't care if anybody thinks I'm making excuses. Let's turn this music down. I don't care if anybody thinks I'm making excuses or not. That football team we just faced came off a bye week, an entire extra week of rest, and gearing up to beat the Miami Dolphins. And we were coming off, 5 days rest, 6-day rest, playing Monday night, traveling across the country to get back home. And we put up 34 points on that team and held them to 19. I don't care what it looked like on the way. I don't think anybody cares in Buffalo what that looked like on the way yesterday. I don't think anybody cares what it looked like on the way last night for the Chargers to beat the Bengals. I don't think it looked that way. I don't think it looked very good when the Raiders were beating the Ravens earlier this season. Just saying. You could argue we're playing a step behind that team last night, and we still beat them 34-19. This is exactly how we were getting wins last year against the inferior teams. We let them come out. We let them play their little whatever storyline they got for their fans, a la Brock Bowers and whatever else. We let them do their little thing. And then we put up the points and hold them when we need to get the dub. Mike McDaniel spoke on it today. It's all about, yeah, it's nice when this and that is, oh, we can do this and that. We can get all this yardage. We can do whatever. And we know we can, but we've got to be able to beat a team when we only put 17 on the board, just the same as when we put 34 on the board. We're beating them all the same way. Consistent execution at a high level, which breeds good execution on your defense. You get a lead, you keep executing, and you don't look back. Case in point, for example, anybody see Bailey last night? I think we might have left Bailey in L.A. Miami Dolphins not punting one single time last night. Led the entire game. Now, when you're there at the stadium or you're watching on the TV, we're all Dolphin fans, so everything's nibbling our fingernails all the time. It all looks bad when something bad happens. But you got to have patience, and you got to realize overall in the macro, we just defeated a bad team 34-19, just like we should. What it looked like on the way looks no different than any other good team beating a bad team week to week. You could say, yeah, we could have put up more points. We could have did this or that or the other. Yeah, that's what we got to work on in practice this week. God damn, it's good to get the dub, man. We needed it. Desperately, we needed this win. We needed to be able to put two of them together. We needed to be able to show that we could execute. We missed some tackles last night, AB, but tackling was, no, we're fine. We got away with that because we're playing a bad team. But yes, you're right. We need to fix that. But I fully believe that we were looking at an aberration last night, AB, and it bottom line comes down to, you're a half step behind them. It is what it is. You've got to overcome it. So it's not an excuse when it comes to short week, long travel. They're on a bye. Not an excuse. It's something to overcome, and we overcame it last night. That's the point. This is a different attitude here for this football team right now. There is something measurably different in their their perspective and the angle they're taking at which they perceive the rest of the year. And I think it's the right one. And I think that's why we won. That's why we're winning. Look, after the loss in Buffalo, we said, look, season's over, but if it is to be something, we have to go on an 8-1 run. We're 2-0. Now we have to go on a 6-1 run. And if I told you 2 weeks ago that we just had to go on a 6-1 run, people would have said, that feels a lot better than having to go on an 8-1 run. Given now that some of the teams on our schedule are proving to be as weak as they actually are. The Jets losing again. Season all but mathematically over. The 49ers looking like human beings, dropping a heartbreaking last-second loss to the Seahawks yesterday. They're beatable. The Packers, Jordan Love, continuing to throw an interception every single ball game this year. They're beatable. The Texans, still with a young quarterback who is seeing a lot more issues this year than he did last year. They're beatable. Ain't nobody undefeated. What's up, Jamie? What's up, Green Rat? AB once again. Cali Fins fan, how y'all doing? Steve Eklund, y'all coming in. Hit the like button as you guys are coming in. I forgot to ask you earlier to hit the like button. We need as many as we can get. Helps the algorithm tell everybody that something's cool is going on right here. And something cool is going on right here. We got the dub. We have a realistic chance. Now we have lost our ability to get ourselves in the 7th seed before Green Bay, but that's only because the Broncos and the Colts both won. But whether you believe they're going to fail or whether you believe they're going to win, if they win, then that just puts other teams in our reach. Again, this season is the furthest thing from over that I've ever seen. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're over on Twitter and Twitch and any of the other platforms, please come over and subscribe to the Fins Tailgate on YouTube. And then go immediately to TFTGnetwork.com. Bookmark that, make it your homepage, and you can find everything that is the Fins Tailgate there, including our shop, which, by the way, I'm still currently working on a voiceover for, but we got it going on. Gear inspired by things you see here on the show. We bring it to you. We make a joke about it. It's going on a t-shirt. Smell a victory candle, coffee mug. Look, there's the color commentary mug. Make your coffee taste better. Look at the freaking store we got. We're freaking behind. Nobody else can have this here. Get over there now. Stop TFTG. Today. Tomorrow. And every other day. What a great job. I can't wait to get something down on paper to put behind that. That's going to be great. Yes, it did, Banana. One of our, one of our good sellers, but we also have the TUA Infinity and Beyond shirt, which rumor has it, allegedly, that Batman ordered like 300 of them and they're flying off the shelves. So get yours today. TUA Infinity and Beyond. So the Dolphins yesterday. If Jonnu. A lot of people knew that if you just get your tight end involved, it opens up a whole lot more stuff for you. We're going to get into the rundown of this game. Team stats, tail of the tape, Dolphins taking the victory 34-19, scoring in the third quarter a touchdown and also scoring 17 points in the fourth quarter after getting somewhat of a slow start. The mood at the stadium was kind of subdued. By the way, shout out to Miss Finns. Got to see Miss Finns at the stadium once again. The ambassador, Chef Jew, as always. And also got to meet up with a lot of great people. Saw Larry from Ohio. Listens all the time. Saw Desi again. Y'all remember Desi? He don't come up in the chat often, but he's around. Got to see him and I believe it was his brother, Eddie. And if y'all are listening, good chopping it up with you yesterday. Always enjoy meeting fans at the stadium. And yeah, it was a great time. I mean, there was a few Raider fans there, but they were pretty quiet most of the day until, man, when Waddle missed that catch before it got flagged for interference, boy, they started chirping it up. They thought they had a chance to steal that one. But once again, Tua getting himself out of the pocket, getting himself out of a clean pocket on a lot of occasions, opening the field up for himself to be able to find these guys that are just wide open. When I saw that play to Jonnu, I thought that there was going to be a penalty for 12 men on the field. I couldn't even believe it, how open he was. I'm like, and the ball had already been launched by then. And I thought, no, why is that guy standing there? I mean, that's how, that's how things work. When you get yourself out of the pocket and you move around and you don't just keep taking those sacks up the front, up the gut. And I would estimate about 6 quarters now straight, Tua has consistently shown us what we've needed to see for 4.5 seasons. So I think it's part 5 Tua time, and we might actually get a decent movie. Because I really feel like now when the chips are on the table, when we've got to really, we got to turn over our cards, I really feel like Tua is going to have the goods. I haven't ever felt that before. Like, I don't feel like we're out of anything now at all. I don't care who the team is. Because if you look at the way we handle Buffalo, we get a little more of what we've seen out of Tua for the last 6 quarters, and we likely beat Buffalo. In that game. So after I run through the game and talk about what I think about it a little bit, we're going to get into watch what Tua has to say at the podium last night. Mike McDaniel's already spoken today, but there really wasn't much to be said other than hammering home the idea that, what we've been working on, what I've been suspecting for what this season's been about is really what it's been about. And we've proven the last 2 weeks that we can win this way. It's a better way to win. And guess what? We still have the ability to go for $182 in 3 plays if we need to do that and if the defense is allowing that. So Miami with 25 first downs yesterday compared to the Raiders 22, 18 of which came on passing, 4 on rushing. Three of them came by way of penalty. Miami's third down efficiency, 8 for 12, while the defense held the Raiders to 8 for 14. Both teams were 2 for 2 on fourth down. Defense has to find a way to get off the field in those situations. But, it's tough when you're playing a team that doesn't have anything to lose. I would argue you could take a touchdown off the board for the Raiders if they're not 2-7 and throwing everything they can, because I don't think they go for it on fourth down from the 4-yard line if, they were really trying to win. They would have likely kicked that field goal there. Now you're looking at a 34-15 game. Total plays, 64 for the Dolphins, 62 for the Raiders. And in those 64 plays, Miami totaled 353 yards, the Raiders 328. Both teams had 7 drives. Raiders with 5.3 yards per play, the Dolphins with 5.5. Raiders with 268 yards passing, Dolphins 271. Raiders were 30 completions on 43 attempts. The Dolphins 28 completions on 36 attempts. Yards per pass, 5.8 for the Raiders, 7.1 for the Dolphins. The Raiders with 1 interception. Tua did not throw a single one all night. QB1 sacked twice for 17 yards, and Gardner Minshew sacked 3 times for 14. The Dolphins with 82 yards rushing to the Raiders 60. On 26 attempts, the Raiders attempted to rush the ball 16 times. 3.8 per rush for the Raiders, 3.2 for the Dolphins. And here where I think is the difference in the game, right here. Red zone. Raiders on 3 trips to the red zone scored once. Miami on 4 trips to the red zone scored 3 times. Raiders penalized 7 times for 49 yards. Dolphins keeping it low again 4 times for 23. Raiders with the 1 turnover, no fumbles. Dolphins with no turnovers. 1 fumble by Tua recovered by the offense. Time of possession, 33 minutes and 12 seconds for the Dolphins. 26 minutes, 48 seconds for the Raiders. Miami leading the entire ball game now for the 8th straight quarter to decisively beat this Raiders team 34-19. And I think we all should be hanging our heads pretty high for this one, because it's showing once again that we do have the ability to execute and what happens when we do. Miami was an 8.5 point favorite. They covered that. 43.5 point over under total. That looks like that was covered. And attendance 65,440 to watch the Dolphins beat the Raiders. Pretty decent turnout for a nobody cares about game. Individual performances. Gardner Minshew, 30 for 43, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, sacked 3 times, as I mentioned earlier. Tua, 28 completions on 36 attempts for 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked only the 2 times. Devon Achane, the leading ball carrier, 17 carries for 73 yards, 1 touchdown, and a long of 30. Top rusher for the Raiders, Jacoby Myers, 1 rush for 20 yards. Alexander Madison, 5 rushes for 19 yards. Brock Bowers, making his case to be the next Travis Kelce in the AFC West. You could argue is just about 90% of the Raiders' offense, and the only reason they were even near in the game, relying heavily on Brock Bowers. 13 receptions for 126 yards, 1 touchdown, followed by their running back Alexander Madison with 3 receptions for 50. These, you can plain as day see, these are the types of off-balance plays that they have to run because they're a bad football team against a decent defense. And they did as well as they could. On the Miami side of the ball, Jonnu Smith, if Jonnu, and some people knew, a lot of us knew that if you just throw him the ball 8 times, he'll catch it 6 for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns and a long of 57, which came on one of the touchdowns, as we all saw and spoke about at the beginning of the show. Tua getting out of the pocket, finding Jonnu Smith wide open for really what amounted to be the game icing touchdown. You started to have fans file out of the stadium after that. Yes, even with what we saw against Tennessee last year, fans were leaving as soon as Jonnu caught that touchdown pass. Tyreek Hill, notable day, 7 receptions for 61 yards, and he got his touchdown on 8 targets. Jalen Waddle continuing to see diminished use with 3 targets for 2 receptions and 37 yards. He did have a long of 24, which likely would have been a crucial first down. So thank you for your services, Waddle. Devon Achane, perfect again. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 32 yards. And of course, Odell getting in the mix, had a crucial first down on the corner. 4 targets, 2 receptions, and again, the one crucial first down. On the defense, Max Crosby kept down to 5 total tackles, 3 solo, no tackles for losses, and no sacks. That's right. Max Crosby, quiet. Another pass rusher that the Dolphins offensive line took care of. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Anthony Walker Jr., 10 total tackles, 6 of them solo. Zach Sealer, again, 4 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. But of course, once again, the man of the hour on defense, who continues to smash through the betting lines with 12 total tackles, 8 solo, and 1 tackle for loss. Give it up for Jordan Brooks, everybody. And keep putting him on your parlays. He had 11 last week, 12 this week. If they set him anywhere under 10 in the betting lines, take the over. He's been smashing through the cover all year long. Jordan Poyer with the third best performance, 6 total tackles, 1 solo. And I want to give credit to one other player. I know it's going to sound really odd to y'all. But once again, I know you're going to hate me. Kader Kohou, 5 total tackles, all 5 of them solo. Because I don't care what happened last night. He is still the best open field tackler on our team. And I know he gave up a tackle for a touchdown. I saw it too. So guess what? He gets a mulligan. I'm going to point it out. You got to get at least a finger on the guy's shoes so your safety can clean it up before he gets in the end zone. But it's a mulligan because guess what? The dude ain't giving up something like that in 4 years of being a Dolphin. So we ain't going to see him give it up again for another 4 years. I don't see anybody getting by Kader Kohou anytime in the near future after him giving up that tackle last night because I'm pretty sure he knows it. He can take last night's tape and put it in with his class, his summer camp on how to open field tackle. He can make that his what you don't do video. And it wasn't 2. The second one, I'm pretty sure he got enough on the guy to help it cleaned up. I'm talking about the one plain as day missed open field tackle that gave up a touchdown. That don't happen. And if you think I'm trying to cape up for the guy, look at the stats last night. 5 total tackles, 5, all 5 solo. You tell me a player on our team that's got all of their tackles solo. Well, I can tell you one. Javon Holland was 2 for 2 last night. Jalen Ramsey, 5 for 5 last night. So I'm pretty sure they've given up tackles too. Speaking of giving up tackles, tip of the hat to Storm Duck for giving it up too. Who everybody wants to anoint, but had 4 tackles last night, 2 of them solo. Yeah, good for him. Pretty sure he was faced with a runner more than 6 times. Let's just keep the same energy, people. It's called defense for a reason. And again, we just came from a cross country on 5 days rest. And no, Kader was not terrible, dude. You're wrong. You're in your feelings. You're looking for somebody to blame for a win because our defense gave up a touchdown. You're looking in the wrong place here, dude. And you're delirious if you think Kader Kohou was terrible. I'll keep the same energy and say he needs to make that. Oh, I don't give a damn if your freaking TV. I was at the game, Donald. Is that a big enough screen for you, bro? Get the hell out of here with that shit. Nobody needs people like you around anymore, bro. We're done with people like you. I could smell the grass. that he gave up. Okay? No, how about the Jumbotron? Is that big enough for you? And if you keep bantering like that, I'm going to bounce you because now you're getting personal, bro. Ain't nobody getting personal with me anymore here at all. You said what you said. You're wrong. End it. I don't give a damn how big your TV is. You're not the only one with a 105-inch TV in the world. Like you literally set all that up to tell everybody that you've got a 105-inch TV. So go stick it up your ass. I don't know what to tell you. Move on. I'm gonna. Jalen Ramsey with one interception last night. The kind of thing that can happen when your offense gets a two possession lead late in the game. Punt returns, Malik with only one. Jason Sanders, 2 for 2 on the night. Money again with a long of 46. 4 for 4 on extra points with a total of 10 points. If it wasn't for Jonnu's 2 touchdowns, that would make him the top scorer on our team last night. Usually is the kicker. What I do want to point out is 1, 2, we had three possessions in the first half. 2 of them ended in scores, 1 ended the half. We came out the second half. They had a chance because it was only 10-6. They had a chance right then and there to recover this game because they kicked the ball off, which means they get the ball at the second half. So they had a chance right there because we only had a couple possessions, and we had fairly long drives on those possessions. They answered with field goals, but with a 10-6 deficit, they had a chance to flip that script, to turn the game around, to recapture the game. All they had to do was come out in the second half and score a touchdown on their first drive. If the Dolphins don't want to give the game back to them, they stop them there and they make them go 5 plays for 10 yards and punt, consuming 3 minutes. That's the part where you say, yes, this is a bad football team. We beat a bad football team yesterday. I don't know. You're an asshole, Donald. That's what type of people you are. You're an asshole. Get to stepping, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I don't need people like you around here. I don't know how else to speak it. Do you want me to use a different language? Do you want me to get Google Translate out and say it in another language? Latin, perhaps? So after we held the bad team to a punt, which we should have done, we come out and run a 14-play drive for 97 yards and a touchdown, consuming 7 minutes and 42 seconds. That's how you beat any football team. It don't matter if it's a bad team or if it's a good team. If that script would have happened against Buffalo, we would have won that game. Now, they came out and answered in desperation with an 8-play drive and put a touchdown on the board. That made it 17-12 because they missed the extra point. Or they failed to convert. And instead of going 3 and out because, we still got the lead and, we'll rely on our defense. No, instead of that, we answered that drive with a 10-play, 60-yard drive for a touchdown. That still wasn't enough. The Raiders still hadn't had enough. That's at which our defense said, damn, man, we gotta do something here. We got to eat some of this time up too. So they answered with a 14-play, 70-yard drive for a touchdown. That made the score 24-19. Now comes that drive every game I'm talking about. They are down by 5 points. They're showing signs of life. Our defense is obviously getting run out. Its hourglass has got only a couple more grains left in it. And our offense needs to burn as much time as they can and hopefully put some points on the board at the end of it. Well, we didn't quite do the time that we wanted to take off the board, but we certainly went 4 plays and scored another touchdown just to ice it that way. And that was the 70. That was the big play to Jonnu. Now the score is 31-19. That's 2 possessions. Guess what happened on the next drive? Did they answer? No, because now there's very little time left. We just went up 2 possessions, and their playbook got closed. It took 1 play for Jalen Ramsey to intercept the football and end the game. I mean, we still put up 4 more plays and kicked a double icing field goal to end the game 34-19. But that was at which point your defense had the ability to say, guess what? They only have one thing to do. Donald, I ain't got nothing to do with what everybody's telling you in chat. All I'm simply telling you is you're wrong for saying that Cater Kohu is terrible. You're wrong. Accept it and move on, bro. You wanted to come back and throw your 105-inch television at me, bro. That's what got me set off. It ain't got nothing to do with what everybody else is saying. Nobody wants that around, bro. That world is over. All I need to do is listen to a game to know what it looks like. I don't have to watch anything. I've been watching for 40-some years. I can look at a box score and a play-by-play and tell you what the hell happened. And I ain't even about spending that energy on this. We won 34-19. Okay, it was a bad football team. Yeah, we know. And they're not, and the players on the field are not androids. They're not robots. They're not Madden algorithms. Okay, you don't just push a button on your control and say, "Oh, that guy better do that, or there's something wrong with my console." No, he's a human being. No, he wasn't terrible last night. Did you not hear what I said? 5 total tackles, 5 solo. You know who didn't have 5 tackles? Half our defense. Storm Duck didn't have 5 tackles. How about that? Jesus H. Christmas, man. It's not biased. It's a reality. If you think the Jacksonville Jaguars could actually put 62 points on a Dan Marino led football team and the travel and the game before that had nothing to do with it, you don't know what you're looking at. You are too new of a football fan to know what you're talking about. It's called Dunning-Kruger, and your 105-inch television ain't going to make no difference on that, bro. Cater Kohu, let me say this again clearly. Okay? 2 tackles missed, 1 tackle, 10 tackles. Cater Kohu is the best open field tackler on our football team. Second to 0. I'll take the occasional miss. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So did every other. What? So 10 guys on the defense aren't responsible for getting the ball on the ground too? Fuck out of here with that shit. I'm not biased. You're biased against one player. There's 11 fucking guys on the field. Every one of them are responsible for getting that football on the ground. And if you think I'm full of shit, go ask your coach. Or either that or hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and stick around for Thursday when I play what Anthony Weaver has to say. Or you can just take what I'm saying for what it is, because I guarantee you that's what the fuck he's going to say. God damn, it's like a bunch of freaking, it's like a bunch of ants on a pile of sugar. Oh my God, Cater Kohu. All of our problems now. Cut him. Terrible. Just terrible. Nothing will ever be good enough for these people until they can go through everybody on the team, and then they'll still run through everybody else. They'll start picking fans off one at a time. Oh, you're the problem. You're the problem. You have no idea what you're talking about. And you've been watching football for 30 years, bro. What, with your eyes closed? That was a good, decisive win against a bad football team. They don't have a bunch of millionaire athletes on the other side of the ball doing their job. No, not at all. There's only ever been 2 teams that didn't win a football game, and none of them are called the Las Vegas Raiders. And I tell you this much, just like when whoever on Kansas City's defense got burned a couple times last year, I guarantee you ain't one of their fans even knew about that at the end of the season. Just like we won't remember one missed tackle for a touchdown by Kader Kohu the next time he's stopping somebody and you're going, oh shit, that's right. Nobody can get by him on the corner. Call me in 4 years when he misses a tackle again. Call me in 4 years and make sure you bring your terrible take with you. Not coping for him. I don't need to cope for a fucking player. And this is what I'm talking about right here, okay? You think you know how to use language. You have no idea what you're doing but getting personal with me, and it's going to get you bounced, bro. So you could either move on, quit degrading my chat, because I'm about to make an executive decision. I don't even know why I care so much. It's stupid.
From the primetime game that we had against the Rams till now, just being in the right spots. It's just a lot of the reps that we've gotten throughout training camp and leading up to this point. So, all of this that everyone's seeing isn't new to our team, but now that he's being implemented more and getting the ball, going through the progressions, that's just what it is. He's a baller.
You had all kinds of yards and points, and last year was a.
So he just answered without answering. He just told you that he's been getting better at going through his progressions. Like, nobody sees it because we haven't implemented it yet. No, TUA, you haven't implemented it until now. But that's okay. You're doing it. Don't be afraid to say it. I know you sort of did there, going through his progressions. Not his progressions. Those are your progressions. And you're going through them now.
Especially your offensively, but you didn't do it like you're doing it now. The 12, 14, 16 play drives. What's been different for you guys?
Well, I think what's been different with the quarterback play is now not trying to force things down the field if it's not there, taking the check downs, allowing our runners in space to go get first downs. Hopefully they can break a tackle.
Oh, you mean like football? You mean like football? You mean like dink and dunk? Is that what they try to the euphemism they like to say, dink and dunk? Yeah, it's called football. It's called you don't throw the ball down the field to a guy that's got 3 defenders on him. What a novel idea.
And you can use that also as essentially a run play if you look at it in that sense.
No, don't look at it in that sense. That's literally what it is in the West Coast system, TUA. Speak it so these people know. So these people stop calling me an idiot.
And we like our matchups with our guys in space. So that's what I would attest to today's performance for us offensively.
When
So would I.
sometimes when players are off for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, they get a chance to see the game a little bit differently from the side. Was this something when you came back that you wanted to implement to be a little bit more ball control, keep drives alive longer?
Not necessarily. I think coming back, it's more so how can we get back into our rhythm as an offense, finding that rhythm, whether it's in the run game, the action game, the pass game, whatever that looks like, and just protecting the ball. Like, not trying to force things if it's not there. We got good enough players to where if we get them the ball in space, we like our chances. So that's sort of been the mindset coming back, and really pocket presence as well. If guys want to drop 8 or if they want to bring pressure, just feeling that out. If I still have time in the pocket, just moving subtly, things like that.
Talk a bit about having to limit an explosive player like Max Crosby on defense. How did you guys game plan for him, and ultimately, how are you guys able to pull off just limiting him to 5 total tackles?
Well, the good news is we didn't have to have somebody stand in the place of Christian Wilkins and punch me in the nuts every play during practice. Oh, I know Michael K. This dude thinks I care about a like. Like, wow, he's taking his like back. Hey, I would have done it for you if I could. That's funny. I love it. Now you know what the motives are when somebody says, I'm taking my like back. Have a nice day. Now, I was right. I was right to project his motives. So there you go. Thank you, Michael K. You don't need to do that, but it's appreciated. But yeah, I mean, look, Tua is just making plays. I don't know if he just needs to say it that way. It's like I just needed to start making plays, and he is.
He's a dog. Everybody knows that around the league. If you watch his tape, he's in every play. Dude has a motor like no other. Got a lot of respect for him. Got a lot of respect for his game. A lot of what we did was, because of where he was on the field. So we had a lot of check outs of runs and things like that to go away from him. It's once you get somebody like that going in a game and he gets a rhythm, it's sort of hard to stop it regardless of the scheme or whatever. Players make.
Well, that's, and that's really astute because, again, this is something I keep pointing out. These guys that, everybody pumps up in the league, the Myles Garretts of the world and the Khalil Macks and the Joey Bozas and the Nick Bozas and the, Parsons and Von Millers and all these guys. None of these guys have had a field day on our quarterback. None of them. We even had 2 in one game. We had Joey and Khalil Mack in one game last year, and they didn't have a field day on Tua. So we do seem to have quite the ability to game plan a way that keeps these guys down. Maybe that's why we have such a hard time on offense, because we're focusing so hard on that game that their defenses can say, well, if they're gonna game plan away from Max Crosby, then we're just gonna have these other guys ready at the flank. And that's what happens. It slows down our offense. But execution is the key to overcoming that. You've got to execute those plays to the other side of the ball field from Crosby, because they're going to know you're trying to do that. They're going to stack up the rest of the team on that other side or that other way or other direction or other avenue. It's kind of like what where did we see it? Last week with Stafford. We showed blitz on one side and then backed out of it at the snap of the ball. So he immediately thought, oh, they're blitzing here, or they're backing off here, which means they're blitzing on my right side, which means I should just be able to turn around and put it right over their head to the open guy. And once he did that, he didn't realize we had already gotten home on that side. So he threw right into the waiting, arms of the defender, as far as it was either a pass deflection or a sack. I can't remember, but it was, it's kind of like that back and forth. happening, where I'm offering battle here, but then I back out, which means the guy thinks, oh, I'm offering battle over here before he even has to look. But that was already set up to be coming earlier, so that by the time he even turns around, we're already there covering that flank, and it worked out brilliantly. That's a stunt, some kind of stunt, whatever. But what Tua is saying is that they've been, practicing heavily on making sure that they counter that. And of course, the only way you can really counter it is to execute whatever game plan you come up with. Otherwise, you're just going to get stymied all day.
Make the plays work. So got a lot of respect for him.
Wait, when Diablo was closing in on you on
The thing of it is they can only keep that up for so long, which is why you see, hey, we struggled 10-6 at halftime. Then we're putting 17 on the board in the fourth quarter because they could only hold up that scheme for so long before it cracked. And you find Jonnu Smith wide open, or whatever.
the last touchdown. Did you see Jonnu, or did you know he was going to be there the whole time, or did all of a sudden he come open to you?
I don't know. I think that was for Jonnu, that was a feel space kind of play because essentially that wasn't what we called for that play to be. And I think he just felt space and was like, if I break it in, I could run into this guy over here. And he kind of just
well, yeah, because as the play develops, you can see before he even passed the guys, he's already throwing up his hand to let Tua know he's gonna be in wide open space because he felt it. What Tua is saying there is Jonnu felt where his space was and you can even see it, like he's running forward, and I can imagine myself with peripheral, he just saw the defense just suck right up. And he knew that he was about to run into a total open area. So he's already throwing his hand up before he even cleared the defender so that Tua could see it as soon as possible. And there he was sitting there in a wide open piece of space.
Throttled going forward and was just like, yo, I'm over here. And so I got out. I think at the beginning of it, the motion kind of messed up what they wanted to do. I think they were trying to get into a zero look. And I think 5 with the communication in the back end, I think it was messed up. And so that's why they dropped it. It was 2 for 3 and they were trying to bring 5, but it kind of helped that they had that communication error because he ended up adding late. So that was cool.
As the leader of this offense, just to give Jake Bailey essentially a day off with no punt scheme, describe that feeling.
There you go.
Yeah,
Zero punts.
Free money for him. Good for him. It's great for him. We took a picture, had 0 punts. Happy for him. It should signify that, for the most part, things are going well offensively.
Yeah, no kidding. Now we just need to have 0 punts against a team like Green Bay or Buffalo or, Kansas City, them teams. We got to have 0 punts against them teams.
What keyed the 10 for 14 on 3rd and 4th downs?
What key?
What was the key? Yeah.
I think just staying in it, having continued to have the seakeeper mindset, and each play stands on its own merit. Just go through my reads, and also having in the back of my head with what other teams have played prior to us on 3rd downs, that they could potentially, do that instead of what they would normally do in those down and distances, and having those answers. So I think everyone was dialed in and locked in on that.
Boom.
Back at the past
Yeah, Tua, they call that making adjustments, bro.
how close or far do you think you guys are from playing your best football?
Well, I think it's a week to week thing. We just got to build off of what we can learn from.
That's okay, Donald. We all make mistakes. We can't all have the visual acuity of myself, but I understand. 85 inches is still pretty big, though, dude. Like, you should have been able to see that, that wasn't the only reason we won the game. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Don't worry about it so much. Not everything is people being coping and all that other whatever new speak you want to use. I simply said the guy deserves a mulligan. That's all I said when I first started. It's the people that say he don't deserve a mulligan are the ones in their feelings.
This week, we move forward. We see what the next opponent is and things that we can do to get better.
Now, I'll be fair to you, Donald. I wouldn't be giving him the mulligan if we lost yesterday. Certainly not. But we beat the team. We played 34-19. The guy gets a mulligan based on what he's done in his career here so far. I'm just saying that's fair to say that. I'm the one being fair.
To give us the edge to win that next game, and we'll continue to move forward. I don't think anyone can play their best game, essentially, but you try to minimize the amount of mistakes that you have in games, and so I think that's what we're trying to do.
Tua, on that topic, just talk a bit about there's a couple of big
and if you're back, man, hit the like button.
playoff caliber matchups ahead. However, you do have New England next Sunday. Just talk a bit about not looking too far ahead, especially against a team that you guys have already beaten earlier this season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to playing New England, but first off, we're going to enjoy the win tonight. Go home to our families, hang out with our friends, whatever that looks like.
Have you dismissed the coaches home to their families too? Has the great king afforded his coaches the opportunity to go home to their families tonight? I would say he has, because if I'm a coach tonight or last night, obviously, I'm thinking, you know what? The guy's getting it. There ain't much I need homework and I need to do tonight because Tua did all my homework for me during the game. So there you go, Tua. The coaches get to go home to their families too, man. Good job. That's how you do it.
Then we'll come in Monday, watch the film, put that to rest, and then we'll get on to New England and focus on that week.
Extended play completions to Jalen and Tyreek. I might be missing another one. But are those plays particularly rewarding? Do you get a personal sort of rush of confidence when those occur? The extended.
I don't know if he does, but I do. That's what I've been wanting to see for 4.5 seasons. Good question.
Plays.
Yeah, sure. If you will. Yeah. Anytime we can extend plays and keep keep their offense off the field, and we can continue to be on the field. You love that at all times.
You also know that that's how you win in the NFL.
Be better with protecting the ball inside the pocket. That's him.
Tua, just to put up the amount of points that you guys did, how gratifying.
I just want to point out, I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to let him repeat himself there so you can hear it very clearly.
You love that at all times. I just got to be better with protecting the ball inside the pocket. That's him.
That's a lamentation right there. Look at his eyes. Look at his, he regrets that horribly. He knows. Okay. And he just said it. I got to do this better. I can't be dropping the football. That's just all there is to it. I'm the quarterback. They can't just bench me for fumbling.
Tua, just to put up the amount of points that you guys did, how gratifying is it understanding, like, all right, all this sort of like we're finally seeing this on Sundays?
It's cool. It's cool. And we're glad that everyone gets to see it. One thing that I know with the players in the locker room is they're not.
Well, we're glad you're showing it to us. Was there any reason you hadn't? I'm just wondering, just asking for a friend.
Not satisfied. There's a lot of things that we wish, we could have done better, especially on my end with my play, with some throws. I wish I could have had back for certain guys, but that's just the way the game goes. It's football. You learn from it, and you continue to play the game as it is.
Dude, your first touchdown came on a tip ball on 4th down. And then your last touchdown of the game, you just popped wide open.
Mm-hmm.
First time all season winning 2 in a row. Feel like you have a little bit of momentum going into the back half of the season?
Yeah, I would say anytime you can get a win in the NFL, it's always a momentum builder for your team, for your locker room, for the organization. It always feels better when your body's hurting after a win than a loss. So I would say we're looking forward to New England next week. We're going to enjoy this game and move forward. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Right mentality, it looks like to me. I mean, what more can you ask him to say? You know, now it's put it down on the field. And if you're putting it down on the field the way you have been the last 8 quarters, I don't see any reason why we can't call ourselves 5-6. I mean, it is what it is. Sure, we could lose next week. Sure, we could, whatever, all that. This team ain't about losing right now. And that should be evident to everybody. That this team ain't about losing right now. We have done the losing thing, and we're not about it. And I just don't know how a game like we played yesterday doesn't play well in any environment, as long as we just get over the cold in our head and execute. Mike McDaniel needs to keep being at the top of his game when it comes to personnel decisions. I want to point out the terrible fade call again, but at least he had a tight end in there. You know, you got the last drive that I was talking about that we ended up, taking a two-score lead on. You know, those are the ones you got to be burning the time while you're doing that. You got to be getting them to eat their timeouts while they're doing that, while you're doing that. It's the same way they all beat us. It's very, very simple. You guys have been following me along this whole season, and we've been right. We've been right, and we've been knowing exactly where we're at the whole way. None of us have had we've had our expectations proper. We know where we're at. There's days we feel like being homers. There's days we feel like being tankies. But we all know where we're at following the Fins tailgate, and all of us here, supplemented by some good teams around the community, Miss Fins, the Blitz pickup. All these people know what they're looking at. We all watch a lot of football. So do you all. I'm not taking that away from you. But look, we're sleeping and breathing this stuff right now, so you all don't have to. And if you've been following along, the objective people, you've been in the right frame of mind the whole way, and you know exactly where we're at right now. We need a 6-1 run. 2 weeks ago, we needed an 8-1 run. Now we're 2-0. We need a 6-1 run. TUA time, part 5, the run. I mean, we were putting bags over our head 5 weeks ago. We're questioning whether we got a good coaching staff. We got all this stuff 5 weeks ago. And the only thing that's changed is execution. The only thing I told you needed to change was execution at every level. The janitor needs to be sweeping the floor correctly. Everybody. Now we got 2 wins because of it. Now we need a third. We got to go 6-1. And we're 2-0. So that's the game right there. It's Monday Night Football tonight. Got the Texans and the Cowboys. Texans facing a really, really terrible team and a team that's in a really bad way. They should be putting up 30 points tonight. That can give you a real measure of where we're at when we have to go face the Texans later in the season. I know it's a crap game tonight, Sean, but again, we have to watch it from the perspective of Where are they at against those trash teams as opposed to where we're at? Because Dallas is going to try to make it a game. The rest of their 52 men are going to, or 45 men are going to show up. Nothing's easy. But by the end of that game in the macro, you need to be seeing a good 30-something point victory and with Dallas somewhere in the teens. If you want a really good measure, if you want to say, okay, here's a fair, not a perfect comparison, but a fair comparison to where we're at as opposed to our upcoming opponents. Take it for that. Put some bets in on the game. Make it fun. I was going to get into my betting action this week, but man, I was close again. I apologize for that Atlanta Falcons call on them covering a small amount of points. I thought they might lose, but not like that. So they kind of busted a couple of my parlays. My big parlay, they were the only ones I got wrong. Hit a couple good points that I thought were pretty good picks, even if the parlays didn't work out. So we'll talk about that throughout the week. We'll continue to we'll move on to the Patriots. Nothing really much left to say other than talking about where we're at right now in our mental state of mind. And I think that Tua right there, he's at least what's coming out of his mouth. Is the right frame of mind. It's the right mentality. I think he's understanding how critical every single play is now. He said it earlier. He said something similar to the effect of the importance of each play. And the results are showing 6 quarters straight of this type of play from Tua. Keep it going. Don't stop. Don't be afraid. I don't give a shit if you throw an interception. Your opponent in Green Bay is going to throw one too. So you got it banked, Tua. Let the ball fly, man. Get out the pocket. I don't care if it's a clean pocket, ugly pocket. If you feel like getting out of the pocket can open up space for your guys and let things develop, then get out the damn pocket. You can see what the results are. 9 different receivers yesterday. Our tight end, I think somebody said it earlier in a space, it's like the first 100-yard tight end and 2 touchdowns we've had in a very, very long time in a game. It's what we've needed to do. I've said it for 3 seasons now, longer. We've got to get our tight ends involved. Every other team does. So if Jonnu, then some of us knew. So everybody hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. I appreciate y'all joining me. It's gonna be a pretty short one today. We just had to talk about a pretty easy win, and the more things come to mind about the state of our team, the more we'll talk. But as far as the game action goes, you saw as well as I did what we needed to do to win a game. It's an easy team to beat. It should have been an easy team to beat. And in the end, the score reflects that it was an easy team to beat. Forget how we got there. Nobody else remembers how people get there. You're not going to tell me that every single game the Chiefs have ever played in the last 5 years were perfect. But they start finding that crack. They start finding that way during the game to win. And it snowballs. Before you know it, you're leaving your opponent in the dust. And it looks a lot better on the box score than it did during the game. That is football. That is the NFL. These teams get paid to punch you in the mouth. It don't matter if they're a bad team. It don't matter if they've got a good chance to win or not. They are paid to punch you in the mouth. It is what you do with that punch in the mouth that makes you a winner or a loser. And I'm going to leave it at that. Short show again today. I'm going to come at you tomorrow. We'll get into some of the deeper stats once the information starts updating as to where we're at now everywhere when it comes to projections, rankings, all of that. We're gonna deep dive into all that tomorrow because all of that information will be updated after the Monday night game tonight. But I wanted to come in and tell you all I'm excited. I wanted to tell you why I'm excited about this team. I think we're just fine. We just need to keep going. We need to keep executing. And I really, really, really believe if we do, there's nobody that can stop us. And we're going to be able to get a chance to prove that. So on this great victory Monday, if Jonnu, because it's TUA time, part 5, the run. Fins up, everybody.